There's a scary looking bug on my light. I'm gonna kill it. Do you like to enjoy conspiracies responsibly? Well, I do as well. And I'm not an asset. I'm not an asset of the CIA. I'm not an asset. There's a couple schizophrenics now who watch my videos, so that's gonna really make them excited. Anyways, no offense, by the way, schizophrenia is a real, actual disorder. It doesn't make you a monster. It doesn't make you turn into a horrible person or anything like that. It's treatable. It's one of those things. It's tough. I cannot imagine. Anyways, I just made a joke and I'm explaining myself because I felt bad.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to Fume for sponsoring this episode of the Oompaville Show.
Quick question. What if you could ditch a bad habit and still have something satisfying to reach for? Well, today's video is sponsored by Fume. It is a whole new movement towards better habits. Fume is not a Vapenheimer. There's no vapor. There's no nicotine. There's no batteries to charge. Instead, it is a sleek, beautiful product, an award-winning device that draws delicious flavors into your mouth through a passive diffusion system. Think of it as a refreshing herbal tea. No electronics, no combustions, just delicious smells and delicious essential oils. Fume's design is not only high quality, but it is also made to fidget with. I play with mine all the time. It's around here somewhere. I have like 100 of these cinnamon ones. I love them. 100. I made that up. It's not a real number. Perfect for calming the nerves or keeping your hands busy. My favorite flavors, cinnamon and also crisp mint. I'd say I like crisp mint. It's refreshing. I can use it anywhere. There's no smoke or vapor involved. Plus, for a limited time, you can get a free Fume topper, one of these cool little things that I'm showing on screen here. I have a bunch of them lying around my desk. When you order the journey packs, you can go to tryfume.com/Oompaville or scan the QR code on your screen and use code Oompaville and you can get some free topper. All right. It gives your Fume device an even softer, warmer feel, and it's chewable. Why not try some flavored air with Fume? It's fun, it's satisfying, and it is absolutely 110% better than the other habits that you can have. So again, head to tryfume.com/Oompaville and grab your free topper today with a journey pack purchase. Japan is a place you probably have heard of. A lot of weird shit going on out there. They got a lot of weird art. They got a lot of, them folks out there are weird. There's weird stuff going out there in Japan. I've got to say, I'm just going to say it. I'm brave. And the strangest thing recently that I've discovered about Japan, because I live under a rock and I genuinely just discovered this recently, is their television shows.
All right, Peter, it's time to master the game of chess.
Okay, that shouldn't be too hard.
No, you will do it in the traditional Japanese way, on a wacky game show while a beautiful woman beats your scrotum with a reed.
Ow! I don't know which way the horse goes. Ah! Why is that guy laughing at me, and where is he?
There was a TV show I used to watch on Spike TV called MXR? What is it? MXC. That's it. MXC. I used to love that show. It's so bad.
And here's Terry Purdue. She's a clown shoe resoler.
You know what they say about clowns with big feet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
But I liked it as a kid, and there was two guys, and it was a Japanese television show that had a bunch of white guys voicing over it.
And here's Rob Tussin. He was very impressive in the warm-ups. And God, he's still going.
That was my sense of humor when I was growing up in the early 2000s. There's a dark side to Japanese television shows, and there's also some wild conspiracy stuff that I wanted to put into a video about Japan and how different Japan is from me in my brain.
この日もキンプレスでの5文字を守り、ひたすらハガキを書き続けるナスビ。すると
That's pretty much what this video is about. We're talking about some wild, deep, insane shit.
This suggests the possibility that extraterrestrials were involved in stabilizing that situation, because had that Fukushima plant melted down, it would have made a large swath of Asia uninhabitable for a very long time.
Strap the in. Press the like button, by the way, if you want to see more content like this. Leave some ideas down below. Susune Denona is a Japanese reality television show that aired from 1998 to 2002. And it's a good place to start because it's one of the most controversial and ethically questionable live stream television broadcasts in the history of global entertainment. I'm not even speaking and exaggerating. I'm a big time liar. Love lying. Not lying in this video, guys. That's legit. That's legit. This is a television program from hell. How did this happen? How did an entire country of people love this? I have no idea. Did they? I really don't know. But man, entertainment in the 90s was crazy. The early 2000s, crazy.
食事の準備。
美味しそうに炊けました。
炊き方完璧。
You're probably saying to your screen right now, Oopaville, why did the show become so infamous? And I retort wittily, the show became so infamous due to its extreme premise. A young comedian named Tomoki Hamatsu, I'm probably not saying any of that correctly, nicknamed Nasubi, that's what I'm gonna be saying in the video, was placed in a bare apartment and tasked with surviving on nothing but prizes that he could win from magazine sweepstakes. Entering into sweepstakes, that's the only thing he could survive on. He was stripped of his clothes and isolated completely from the outside world.
はい、全部。マジパンツもですか？うわ、いいんですか？嘘。なんか違くないですか、ちょっと。
And this is where things get really insane and unbelievable in 2024, and that is, this was without his consent. Nasubi was unknowingly live streamed to millions of viewers for nearly 15 months as he endured some hardships, maybe some psychological torment, some psychological trauma. Not sure if you'd say that, but I would say that, all right? Because it's true.
ご飯粒で貼る。
This whole thing started as an ambitious test, a cutting-edge form of something wild and new, and it turned into an obsession for the nation of Japan and a test of endurance for one man who was unaware of his exploitation.
いいんですか？服の返却です。 ここでプロデューサーは
This man is referred to by some as the most exploited man in television history. And that's completely true, and we'll get into that. By the way, have you ever seen The Truman Show? This came out in 1998. I'm assuming The Truman Show came out in 1998 as well. They saw that shit and were like, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, 1998. They saw The Truman Show, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And then they were like, let's do that on a guy. Let's find a guy, name him Eggplant, and then just with him for a year, for 15 months. Ruin his life for 15 months. That's what they said. That guy in that movie, the guy who's like he's got the weird dumb hat on backwards, and he's Truman's dad or whatever, but not actually, but he thinks he's Truman. That guy's real, except he's Japanese. Stromboli, whatever his name is. I don't know. What the f? This seems wild. This seems like really not good. The Truman Show brought about a whole new way of thinking about individual privacy, and then this show, took that and did it in real life. At the core of the show, it was a disgusting, brutal challenge. Disgusting in that it would be really difficult.
1週間ぶりの当選。
Nasubi, upon entering his apartment, was immediately deprived of his clothing, his personal belongings, and any form of communication with the outside world. His only task this whole time was to accumulate about 1 million yen, which is about 8 grand, in prizes from magazine sweepstakes. This seems like it wouldn't be that hard. 1 million is like, whoa, 1 million yen? That's a lot of, oh wait, that's 8 grand? Okay. It is 2002 money, 1998 money, so that'd be a little hard, but I could probably figure that out maybe. It took him 335 days to achieve that, so it's like this sort of, not an impossible task that you're watching this man undergo, but it's under impossible context in that he's being deprived of things that make humans human in the 20th and 21st century. Like clothing. It took Nasubi about 335 days to achieve this 1 million yen goal, and with nothing but water, heat, and electricity that was provided, Nasubi was forced to rely on whatever he could win from sweepstakes. This ranged from bags of rice, food, that was his food, to dog food. That's right. He ate more dog food than he should have had to eat dog food wise.
水なす漬けもとっくになくなり、ご飯のみのディナータイム。
神系の当選がね、
お米も送ってそれは食べてるよね。
続いてもらっちゃってもね。
しかし、現象の神様は神系の挑戦をまだまだ続ける。
The overall toll on Nasubi was immense. The physical toll, the mental toll, the nutritional toll. He wasn't able to have basic nutrition for weeks, days at a time, nor proper hygiene, which would make me go crazy. I smell like cat piss right now. And I don't know why. I had a stressful day, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I'm just leaking piss. So anyways, back to Nasubi, I'm sorry. The producers did what producers do, and they took things a step further by lying to Nasubi about the nature of the show. So he knew that something was going on. He believed that the footage would be edited and broadcast later, but in reality, his every single move was being streamed live to a completely fascinated national audience. He became a spectacle. I said this was without consent in the very beginning, and it definitely is because he's being live streamed and he's told he's not, but he still is aware that he's being filmed. So that's different between this Nasubi and the Truman Show. You know, Truman was a baby, so he had it worse. All right, that's what I'm trying to get at, okay? If one's a real victim, I'm just kidding. It's not real. This one's real. These people. Why did this happen? Why this is crazy? I hope they get canceled. Shut up, dumbass. Nasubi faced many difficulties during the time of the show, many challenges, aside from just having to survive only on things you could win from a magazine sweepstakes. How does that even work? He was mentally challenged. I mean, he was challenged mentally. No, that still doesn't sound right. He faced mental challenges as well as physical challenges and survival challenges. Completely deprived of human contact, Nasubi turned to a stuffed animal as his sole companion during his months of isolation. He named this thing by Nasu. All right, look at this little guy. That's cute. That's really cute. You know, that's also incredibly sad. By the way, this show f***ed him up really badly. Like this is the first time and probably the last time that this has been done. This is wild. You know, after Truman Show, obviously. To add some clarity too, when I said he could win rice, how are you supposed to cook rice if you don't have a way to cook rice? How would you cook rice? If you got a bag of rice and you were hungry and you needed to eat it, how would you cook it? I don't know how you would do it, but Nasubi figured out how to cook rice by using discarded packaging from his previous prizes. That's crazy. He did what? He's a scientist? He was able to use part of the packaging. A little fiber jelly bag. What's that? What the f***'s a fiber? How do you make that heat? I would be eating hard rice is what I'd be doing, actually. Or I'd probably soak it in water for a long time. Wouldn't it? I don't know how rice works. After he figured the rice out, he eventually ran out. And he had to survive on dog food for a very long time. A very long time. To me, that seems... This whole thing's very cruel, but that seems like really the cherry on top. You're not even feeding him food. Rice is barely food to just eat that and that's it. That's barely enough for, I mean, is it enough nutrition? And then you're giving him dog food? That's up, dude. These producers, this must be what TLC came from. Not really, they're not nearly as bad as TLC. I mean, TLC's way better than these guys. These guys are assholes. Who are these freaks? Times were very tough for Nasubi, and evil people were definitely keeping him down. He was driven by determination to complete his challenge, and he never gave up. That's the most impressive thing. He was completely unaware of how closely his suffering was being followed by millions upon millions of people in his home country. 17 million viewers on a Sunday night. That's a lot of people that were watching this show. There were some cool parts, some legendary parts that I've got to admit. Legends that didn't come out of suffering, but out of sort of, you know, it's badass. It's not with consent, but it's still badass. The first person to ever live stream a video game, Nasubi. That's right, guys. He won a PlayStation from one of those magazine sweepstakes in a game called Densha de Go. And Nasubi live streamed that bitch, played that bitch for 3 days straight. Inadvertently, Nasubi became a pioneer in video game live streaming. Now, a ubiquitous thing in the gaming world. We're all familiar with it. Now, of course, the significance of that achievement is completely overshadowed by, well, the fact that it's, you know, he didn't consent. He was deceived. you know, he was thinking he was cut off from the outside world, or at least he thought he was, when in reality he was being broadcast. Also, the producers were way more evil than I've explained up until this point. They continually moved the goalposts for Nasubi's challenges, or whatever to prolong his ordeal. I mean, of course they did.
ナスビのあまりの運のなさに見かねたスタッフは当然運の上昇を願い2度目の引っ越しを決めたのだった。
After nearly a year of sweepstake dubs, while inching closely towards the 1 million yen goal, Nasubi was blindfolded and taken to South Korea, where he was forced to start a new challenge. Or I guess the same challenge, but this time he had to earn a plane ticket back to Japan. And even though he accumulated enough winnings to buy the ticket, the producers raised the stakes and upgraded his goal to a business class ticket, then a first class ticket, without informing him. This is a level of manipulation that is not common. You don't get to see this that much. But it was twists like this that allowed it to be so awesome and popular for such a long time. What are the comments like on those live streams? Did they have comments back then? What did people think about this whole thing back then? I mean, this can't be... I feel like if I'm just a random ass guy in the year 2000, I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I go back to doing whatever I was doing before, investing heavily into the .com stocks, to the .com boom. That's what I was doing back in 2000, flying airplanes. They hit the Pentagon! Or whatever. This show was popular as back then, though. Okay, I mean, there was a lot of people watching, and I have a feeling there was a percentage of them who were probably not happy about this. But most everybody, they got other shit to worry about. Nobody cares. When Nasubi finally completed the challenge after 15 long months, the reveal was as theatrical as the rest of his experience. He was returned to Japan, placed in a fake apartment. The psychological toll was clear. When the walls fell down, Nasubi instinctively assumed he was still going to be tormented. I mean, look at his face. He's not ready for this. He did look a little happy when he realized it was over. In the years following Susune Denona, Nasubi has spoken about the mental scars and emotional scars that were left by the experience, and even doing a big thing with Hulu. It was incredibly manipulative and evil. This whole thing is crazy. This is the worst, most evil live stream ever. Yes, I'm aware that is a Penguin Zero title, but it is very important. That's what's said. It is the most evil live stream ever. These people are pieces of shit. Wild. The producers, the people who house the live stream, the audience, everyone complicit in this. Is this legal? Did he ever sue anybody? Can you sue people in Japan? I know you can sue somebody for anything in America. I wonder how it is in Japan. I'm not sure. Probably not, or this guy would be a billionaire. So that's definitely not good. There's other shows in Japan too that are less bad for sure, but still really, really weird. There's a show called AK Bingo where these people do this. You've probably seen this video with the bug straw thing. This show isn't just that. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the show. It's kind of like Family Feud in a sense. People are chosen to participate in each episode. Hosts announce what the game will be for the episode. In this episode, it's famous, there's a cicada in the tube and stuff, which that's not that weird. Nasubi had it way worse. This is just literally pales in comparison, which is why I wanted to put Nasubi first, because it's just, I mean, that's about as bad as it gets. Let's be real. They also have dodgeball challenges out there, which look fun, I guess. Once you get out, you have to perform an outlandish challenge, an outlandish Japanese challenge. They also got a human slingshot. Pretty cool. Another very popular odd show is called Tor, or Tori, I think. Tori is an ancient ruin theme game show. It's very entertaining, lots of challenges. The host sort of reminds me of T-Pain a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, and just like I don't know exactly why. It's a pharaoh though, it's pretty hilarious. I really like that. They use each other's bodies to climb in one clip. And then this happens eventually. This is incredibly odd. I feel like this is illegal. Anyways, that is panic-inducing, claustrophobia-inducing. I cannot watch that without sweating. Is this normal? Does this happen a lot? I feel like that's crazy. She gets turned into a mummy. That's wild. There's another show called Everything is Chocolate, where you gotta find something that looks like chocolate. It's basically Prop Hunt, but with chocolate instead of idiots on Steam. Just kidding, I love Prop Hunt. There's this part, I have no idea what's going on, but I really like it. It's funny. It's funny, I like this one. This one's good. This one's real good. Japan also has their own version of Impractical Jokers called Gaki no Tsukai. Five prominent Japanese comedians are basically Impractical Jokers, and there are some funny things. They did one challenge I'm sure you'll recognize called Silent Library, and this is a challenge that this show pretty much pioneered. You've seen KSI and the Sidemen use it. Oh, wow. They definitely did the Silent Library. That's awesome, man. That's funny. Let's see that guy's hairline. All right. Why is he always wearing a bandana on his head? That's got to be crazy. That's got to not be good. That can't be good. He's hiding something up there. All right. He's hiding a third eye up there. Silent Library. That's them. You've definitely seen clips of this show. Getting slapped with boiling hot noodles. Ah, ha, 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 ha. This part as well. I love this part. That's me trying not to tell you guys that I smell like cat piss. That's me trying not to tell you guys I smell like cat piss. So, yeah, pretty much. I'd say out of all these, this is the one that I'm most familiar with, Gaki no Tsukai. I've seen clips of this for a long time. It's very popular. There are other prank shows out there and stuff, but this isn't all that Japan does that's really interesting. They also have their own versions of conspiracy theories. And a lot of these are, how do I say it? Awesome. A lot of these are really awesome, okay? Kind of unique. They're clever. They're clever. Do you know about the secret dinosaur that lives in the Congo? Did you know that Japanese people are the ones who found it? Did you know that?
In 1992, a Japanese expedition traveled to remote Lac Tele in the heart of the Congo forest. They were looking for a dinosaur, a long-lost leftover from the Cretaceous period.
During the late 20th century, aka the 80s, Japanese expeditions, largely funded by cryptozoological societies and television networks, ventured deep into the Congo in search of Mokole Mbembe. I'm not saying that right, I'm sure, but it's pretty cool. You should look into it. The conspiracy claims that these expeditions may have been more successful than officially reported. So they went looking for it, and then they found it, and they're like, let's not tell anybody about it. That's basically the conspiracy theory. These theorists suggest that the Japanese government or some other private organizations, like the people who do Jurassic Park, found proof of this creature's existence, and Jeff Goldblum has emphasized the importance of privacy regarding the matter. They've kept it hidden for unknown reasons, is the theory. Some versions of the theory speculate that Japanese scientists captured the Mokole Mbembe or discovered a valuable biological piece of information related to its survival. The theory also suggests that this could have led to breakthroughs in evolutionary science, biotechnology, the cure to cancer, or some people even suggest military applications, things like that, Project Agent Orange. or whatever, and that's why it's being suppressed and hidden. I know what I'm gonna start doing, looking into Japanese television shows about cryptids and mysterious animals. There were quite a few, and these animals were often reported on during their expeditions in the 80s and 90s, the late 20th century. So yeah, they found something, and due to external pressures, they had to keep it secret. So that's where I'm at on it. I will say the abrupt end to the Japanese expeditions is weird. Maybe there needs to be more research into Mikole and Mbembe, potentially in the Congo Basin. I don't really know much about it. That does tie into a much broader theory of there still being living dinosaurs in Africa and the Earth. I've seen this theory recently. I've seen a couple interesting videos about it, and I'm all in. I'm all in. But I get why they're keeping it a secret, all right? We don't want chaos, widespread panic and chaos and insane people running around going, dinosaurs! Or whatever. Even though they're they're on a different continent, even the people on that continent aren't really getting up by them that much. So yeah, you gotta keep that from the public eye. It's my favorite Japanese conspiracy. This is not just Japanese people making these conspiracies, this is a Japanese adjacent conspiracy, by the way. I thought it was really interesting though. Oh, he put it was wee into his. So they got dinosaurs. How about interstellar influences? I think I've spoken about the Hyperborea human-alien connection. Japan has their own version of this. There is a theory that there's an otherworldly influence that could potentially explain why Japanese television is so strange. And also other things. Nihon Genron is a genre of historical literature and ideologies that bolster Japanese nationalism and culture. The premise of Nihon Genron originated during the Kokugaku movement of the 17th and 18th centuries, which was an intellectualism movement centered around Japanese philosophy and history.
In this episode, we will look at the origin of Kokugaku, the study of Japanese nativism, and Rangaku, the Japanese study of Dutch technology.
This was also an era in human history in general in which the ideas of nationalism and sort of collectivism, not of your town or your state or whatever, but your nation. It was a really interesting time. The French invented nationalism. Look it up. Just kidding, don't look it up, because I'm probably wrong, but I just said that to try to be cool, you know, so people might believe me without looking it up and prove me wrong, but they had a lot to do with it. I do know that. Seems like Japanese were figuring it out too, but they delved a little too deep and they smoked a little bit too much peyote or whatever they smoke out there in Japan. They started thinking about aliens, dude. Not them, but probably them, though, let's be real. During Japan's big nationalism phase of the 17th and 18th century, they isolated themselves. They had closed their borders to foreigners and stopped fighting wars to focus on fortifying their own cultural identity. And then 300 years later, 200 years later, they tried to conquer the world. And specifically, they really didn't like China that much. The concept of Nihon Genron, or the treatises on Japaneseness, started to pick up again post-World War II. They did this for quite a while, then they got really crazy and started trying to take over the world and attacking the Chinese, and then we dropped 2 bombs on them, and then they stopped. And Nihon Genron sort of lost its relevance during the war, but after the idea of it, the idea of the treatise on Japaneseness, that came back into the Japanese zeitgeist, started picking back up again after World War II. Americans, they were coming in, changing everything. Many Japanese people looked to the past for support of different kinds, emotional, moral support. And that is why it's thought that Nihon Genron saw a massive resurgence post-war. People needed something. From the resurgence, we got some fairly interesting principles surrounding Japanese nationalism. For example, Japanese people were not just people, but a unique race that mixed with no one else and descended from a specific primate, their own primate. They had their own primate they came from. That was not Chinese, not Korean, not Laotian, sorry, I said that wrong, Cambodian. They didn't come from Africa. They didn't come from anywhere, really. They had their own primate they descended from, a Japanese primate. It seems like due to the Nihon Genron of the 17th, 18th century up until the Second World War, and just this general vibe that exists in the Japanese culture, they're very isolated. They have their own extremely unique thing, and it's very infectious. People love it here. I know Korea, I think. Does Korea like Japanese culture? Probably not. Maybe, I don't know. I know I like all of it. I love culture so much. I love Chinese culture. 89% of Koreans in 2005 were polled by the BBC and they said they cannot trust Japan. So that's probably not good. So anyways, speaking back on the treatises of Japaneseness theory, the Nihon Jinran theory, their language is very unique because it had alien framework. According to many who believe in the ideologies surrounding Nihon Jinran, they claim the Japanese people are somehow connected to an ancient alien or have a connection with aliens, and that is why their culture is so based and unique. They back this claim up by referencing numerous otherworldly encounters by Japanese people. One of these encounters that is commonly cited is the 1803 encounter with Utsuro Bune, the hollow ship. This is a weird story. This is very strange. The story goes as follows. Some fishermen were out along the coast when they saw a hollow ship drifting at sea. They brought it to land, and out came a young woman who didn't speak Japanese. She went, she's a alien. Not really, probably. It was theorized that the woman was royalty of a foreign land, so they put her back into the ship and sent her back out to sea. And, you know, some people now think it was a UFO. It was an alien woman, probably. That's probably the easiest UFO encounter to find evidence of. Oh, it's not though. There are plenty of other Japanese UFO encounters though, guys, including during the 2011 earthquake when the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant neared a meltdown. There were multiple UFO sightings in the area of the power plant before and after the earthquake.
According to eyewitnesses on the scene, these workers were not alone.
There were UFO sightings reported in some significant numbers in that area in the weeks and the days leading up to the earthquake and tsunami. And there were a number of UFO sightings reported in the immediate area directly afterward.
This is another theory that aliens are involved with nuclear stuff, and every time there's been an accidental launch of nukes, aliens have come and they've deactivated it. All right, I've heard that theory because they're like, you guys, you know, you get to play with your sticks and your toys and stuff until you start f***ing us up, and then we're going to take them away from them. You're going to whoop your ass, turn your ass red. All right, little bastard. Some bitch. So they think that that happened at the Fukushima plant. Specifically in regard to our Nihon Jinran theory, this has led many fools to believe that the Japanese called down their ancient alien relatives to help stop the reactor from melting down. Pretty cool.
And this suggests the possibility that extraterrestrials were involved in stabilizing that situation, because had that Fukushima plant melted down, it would have made a large swath of Asia uninhabitable for a very long time.
So one could say that potentially this incredible extraterrestrial influence is what's caused the Japanese television networks to be so crazy and awesome. Not really, I just thought this was all very interesting and didn't want to make more than one video about Japanese stuff, so I stuck it all into one. There's a lot more though, like Unit 731, terrible stuff happened in World War II in Japan to the Chinese and other people who weren't Japanese, and a few more. Okay, guys, but anyways, thank you all for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, press the like button down below. Go to the Gump Club to watch these videos uncensored and get free shipping if you're in the United States of America on Sour Boys, and heavily discounted shipping if you are international. Thank you for watching, and thanks to Fume for sponsoring this video.